Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, hosted by Bruce Hutchin, and episode number 155.
Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, where it is all about whitetail deer hunting tips, techniques, and the stories so you can become a more successful whitetail deer hunter. And now your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Sam Evans joins us from Ava, Missouri, where he's the founder of Bad Company Hunting and Outdoors. His passion for hunting and fishing in the outdoors world started early in his childhood. He started Bad Company Hunting and Outdoors with a group of friends in 2013. They are a group that believes strongly in God, family, and sharing a love for all things outdoors. And he's a pretty good deer hunter, too. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, Bruce Hutchin. We're heading to Southwest Missouri this morning, and we're going to talk to Sam Evans. He's the creator, founder, and chief bottle washer there at Bad Company Hunting and Outdoors. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bruce. Glad to be on.
Hey, let's just jump right into it. Let's share with the listeners how you got Bad Company Hunting and Outdoors going, and then we'll talk about some whitetail hunting.
Well, I kind of sat around. I was wanting to get into the hunting and video and everything on a video camera, and I just got to talking to my wife, got to talking to my buddies, and it just kind of started from there. It's something that I've always been into as far as hunting, and just kind of changing things up by throwing a camera in there, but sure is a lot of fun.
Well, what are you trying to accomplish? Everybody starts out, you've told me, you want to get into the photography and doing the videos and everything. But what's the main thrust? What's the mission of Bad Company?
To get kids in the outdoors. It's something that I think is very important for the outdoor industry, and teaching, the kids the ethics and how to become a good hunter and how to respect the game that you hunt and respect the land that you hunt on, because they are the future. And that was one of the things that I started Bad Company with, and it's one of the things I'd like to keep carrying on. It's very important to me.
So what specifically are you doing to get kids involved? I know you've grown your company. Have you been involved with kids before, taking them hunting or taking them out fishing, or just taking them out looking at critters?
Yeah, we've taken kids out on whitetail hunts and turkey hunts, and it's a lot of fun watching their reaction. And we keep going, to take the kids. Excuse me.
Yeah, and so how do kids find you, or how do you find the kids? Because we're gonna have a lot of listeners. I've got a lot of listeners in Missouri, so tell us how you get those kids.
Right now we're taking kids that we know that that is related to us or a friend of a friend, and just trying to get them on a deer or a turkey. How they can find us is, through Facebook. We have a website that we work on. But as far as, hey, Bruce,
that's all right.
Words.
That's all right.
Edit that out.
Well, okay. So you got a Facebook. What's your Facebook page?
Bad Company Hunting and Outdoors at Facebook.com.
Okay. How about Twitter? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, BCH Hunting is the Twitter account, and then Bad Company Hunting on Instagram.
Okay. So if somebody wants to get a hold of, check out social media, and then just send Sam a message, and he'll get back to you. Sam, when you look at the video, and what's this? Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, for one, you can video hunt, and then you can look back on that hunt if it turns out to be a special moment. And the better quality video you get, the better that you can watch that moment over and over and over again. And that's something that I like to see is if, like, I killed my biggest buck this year, 143-inch buck. We've got it all on video, and I can sit and watch it. And, you know, you can show your friends when you've got that buck on the wall. You can say, well, here's the video. Here's how that moment went down. And that's just something I really like doing.
Well, let's talk about that special deer, 143 any place. You know, one guy told me how many, you know, bucks don't make Pope and Young minimums of 125, and so 143 in Missouri or any place, that's a great deer. So let's talk about that. Was he on your hit list?
Well, I'd never seen this deer before in the area. I've got this little honey hole, and I call it my shooting shack. It's a big box blind, and it's long shots. It was with a rifle, but me and Jason Hall was sitting in there, and this buck, we'd watched 8 other bucks that morning, cross back and forth, chasing does, and the field in front of us was really tall with grass, and you could just see when they make their hop, you just see the antlers. Well, I passed this decent 8, and I kind of got to kicking myself. I'm like, well, maybe I should have just took that deer. And then Jason goes, there's a good one. So it was a 198 or 298 yard shot. And I shot, and I thought I missed the first shot. And when he got in the sunlight, I'm like, boy, that's a lot bigger deer than what I thought it was. Well, then we get down there to him, and I hit him first shot, missed second shot, but he was a really good deer, and I'd never seen him. I was actually hunting for another deer that I'd had an encounter with the year before that I called Hollywood, but you got to take what you can get in southern Missouri.
Well, yeah. So I mentioned the Pope and Young. So like I said, a 140-inch deer with a rifle, muzzleloader, crossbow, compound bow. It's a great deer. So now, how did you get that on film? Because 298, that's poke out there.
Well, we was running a video camera at that time, and we could zoom out there to him. He was we was kind of in the bottom field, and he was kind of up on this hillside, so you can get him. And it's a box blind, so we had all the area to move in the box blind. And Jason, he got him on video and made the shot, and it just all kind of worked out good.
Now, are you hunting over a food plot, or is this a natural,
I didn't
travel corridor?
I didn't put any mineral out at this spot. I stayed out of it. And that was something that I've tried doing here lately. Is I've got one spot that I like to rifle hunt, so I stay out of it. I don't go in there. I don't go scouting. I stay out of it. I scout the land around it and try to get pictures of bucks that I know it's in that area. But this buck, I've never seen him ever. He's one that just moved in there, and I think a lot of it, the field wasn't mowed, wasn't hayed this year or anything like that, and I think they just felt secure in that location. Because, like I said, we've seen 8 bucks that day, and then the next week in the rifle season, I took my brother-in-law, and he got that decent 8 that I'd let walk.
You mentioned something that's really important, and whether you are sitting up in a tree stand with a bow or sitting in a box blind with a rifle, if year in, year out, you've had an opportunity to shoot some bucks out of that stand, and it's really smart. Just don't do anything until you're ready to hunt that stand.
Yeah.
And, listeners, take note of that, because everybody gets excited and you get your trail cameras up, and, if you need to fix up the stand or the box blind, heck, do that in, July, August. Once September comes, just stay the heck out. The first time you go in there is opening the rifle season, or the first time you're going to sit the stand. Now, you say you like the tree stand also for archery?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about how high up in the air you get.
Well, it all ranges for me. It just whatever I can get the highest point and still have the shooting lanes. I'll get to that point. I had one stand that I couldn't get very high, and it's like 10 foot off the ground. But I seen deer out of it, and it didn't bother them. I mean, I had a good wooded back set behind me, so my silhouette was broke up, but it worked out all right. As far as
now,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to ask you, how do you decide where you're going to put a stand?
We usually look for trails, and then if we can find a major trail, we'll put like a mineral block or something off that trail, and then we'll put up a game camera before we put up a tree stand, just to kind of see what's in the area, how often they're going through that trail, and then the mineral site's just a stopping point, and that's when we'll take our shots when they get to that mineral site.
So minerals, now can you also put corn out or soybeans or other types of attractant?
Down here you can, but you've got to have it pulled 2 weeks before season. You can't hunt over corn or anything with a byproduct of corn or acorns or anything like that. You can hunt over mineral.
So you can set up mineral stations then?
Yeah, you can hunt and use mineral sites as not really baiting, but.
Now, what type of products do you like from attractants?
I get a powder mineral and then, rake it into the ground. And then once it rains, I mean, they'll dig for that mineral. You can use.
Now, do you have a special brand that you like?
We use Freak Nasty deer feeds.
And you use it in powder form, not block form?
Yeah, well, we use both. But the powder form, it'll get into the soil more faster than the block. The block, when it rains, it takes it in there. We've got one spot that they dug a hole the size of the truck hood going after that mineral.
And how many mineral sites do you have?
We probably got 8 mineral sites. It's not in one area, but we've got them in different areas.
Now, talk to us about the type of terrain that you hunt and how many acres do you have available to you for hunting?
Well, I'm not sure how many acres for sure. I know one spot there's about 1,000 acres that we can hunt, and the terrain is just rolling hills. There's some flat, but it's just rolling hills.
Now, is this hardwoods or?
Yeah, there's hardwoods, and then there's cedar thickets, and there's some glade type terrain, and then then the big open fields that you can sit and watch them in. But a lot of it we get into the hardwoods.
Now, when you decide, you said before when you set stands, you look for trails. Do you look for intersecting trails or main trails along ridges? Or tell us how you decide where you're going to put your stands.
We usually look for the main trail that's on a ridge. Because usually when it gets good, the bucks are on the ridges, are running the ridge lines. So we try to get on the ridge line and kind of at a pinch point. That way
I was going to ask you, now everybody talks about pinch points. What's a pinch point mean to you? Define that in Southwest Missouri.
To me, it means where they comes to at the end of a holler, it kind of just pinches them to where they have to come around. It's hard for me to explain it because I've probably got a different definition than what everybody else does.
And that's why I'm asking the question, to help people understand that even though, you're in Southwest Missouri, a pinch point is a similar situation based on terrain, based on cover, based on...
We're two haulers coming together. And then they'll skirt kind of around them 2 haulers.
Now, do you set your stand on the inside or the outside of the trail?
It just depends on how the wind. Usually, if the wind's going to blow a certain way, most of the time coming out of them haulers, or the sun, is another big thing that I look for. So you might, depending on if you're going to hunt that set of the morning or the evening, is you want the sun behind your back. That way, if they look up, they don't see you. You don't want the sun on your face, because to me, they pick you out faster that way.
Agreed on that. That's for sure. Now, do you have stands that are early season stands where they might be getting acorns or runner midges before the rut? And do you have stands that you hunt just predominantly during the rut?
Yeah, in the early season, we chase them acorns. Wherever the acorns are falling, we're trying to get as close to the acorn tree without being just right on top of it. And then the rut, we hunt the ridge.
Have you ever? Go ahead.
We had a buck this year. It was the first time we hunted this property, and he come in in a totally different direction than what I figured he'd come in at. And we didn't get the opportunity. He got 40 yards, and it was really brushy. And it was on a deep holler. That if you'd have shot him, he'd probably ran straight down the hill like they always do. But I just the ridges are what really are good to me as far as hunting the rut. And then you'll catch them in the fields too, crossing the fields. But I've had more success being in the ridge, on the ridge line.
Let's talk about your clothing, your boots, and if you do use scent controls. Talk to us about how you manage your scent control.
I usually wash my clothes in a scent-free detergent, and the boots, wear rubber boots because they don't let out as much scent as your breathable boots. And spray down every time before we go in. We spray down with some scent elimination. And then the wind, you got to watch the wind. That's one thing you got to pay attention how your wind is blowing, because that'll give you away too.
Now, do you use any, especially during the rut, any deer urine products or other attractants?
Yeah, we use Outlaw Scents. They're out of Salem, Missouri, and they've got an all-natural. There's no preservatives or anything in there. They're dough and heat, and I'll put that on a drag or on the bottom of my boot when I'm walking in, and it works. It's pretty effective.
Now, when you say a drag, some people use drags and other people don't. I've had some great results with drags, and other times absolutely zip. So let's say on the positive side of it, why do you think drags work?
It gets your scent lower to the ground, and depending on how far you walk to your stand, if you're dragging that and you refresh it, it just keeps that scent lower to the ground. And then if the wind blows in the direction the buck's at, he'll get a whiff of it, and then he'll get right on that trail. I've had them do it a few times. They'll get right on that trail, and then they'll just, wherever you've walked, they'll just follow that trail, and then it leads you right to the base of your tree. So I've had good results using a drag. And another thing, urine. Once the sun hits urine, it changes it. It don't have the smell to it. That attract. It takes away it turns it to ammonia. So that's another thing. If you're when you're walking with a drag, if you walk kind of in a shaded area, then your scent will stay on the ground longer.
Now, listeners, I hope you understand what happens, because as soon as the sun hits the scent and warms it up, it turns right to ammonia. And I don't know how quick it does. How quick does it really break it down?
I'm not sure. That's something I'm not really checked into. I just know it does it.
So that's a tip worth remembering, especially if you're using scent wafers or anything. Make sure it's in a shaded area, because if the sun hits that, beats on it for a couple hours, you're just spinning your wheels as far as I'm concerned. Would you agree to that, Sam?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now let's talk about your archery equipment. What type of gear do you use?
I use a compound bow, and then a carbon arrow, and then I like a fixed broadhead. There's less room for error, in my opinion. But to each their own. On the broadhead, that's something you could debate for hours.
And what kind of broadheads do you use?
I use slip trick.
No, is that a 3-blade, 2-blade?
It's a 4-blade.
4-blade?
Yeah, inch and an eighth, I believe.
About 100 grains or 125?
Yeah, 100 grains. Flies just like a field point.
Now, who makes your bow?
Bowtech does right now. I'm shooting a Bowtech.
Do you have any sponsors? We're kind of getting near the end here, and if you got some sponsors, I want you to take a couple minutes here and just give a shout out to your sponsors. You mentioned you've done some schooling with Joe Allen down there at Hunt Cove for video photography. So why don't you take a couple minutes now and share with the listeners some of your sponsors and the people that helped you get to where you are today in whitetail hunting.
Okay, Gun Supply Outlet, they're out of Springfield, Missouri. They're your shop. We do a lot of predator hunting too, and we've got a gun from them that we use, an AR-15 rifle that we predator hunt with, and they build really good guns. I can't tell you how good a gun is. It's very, very accurate, and Mark Wells is one of the nicest guys you'll meet. He's very informative, and he'll help you. So check them out. And then Outlaw Scent out of Salem, Missouri, they've got some really good doe esters that works, and they don't have any kind of preservatives in it. And then Undercover Sportsman, if you're looking for a bed cover to protect your gear, check out Undercover, because they've got a good line of products. I've got the Flex tonneau cover, and it protects everything that we use, from video equipment to bows to just anything. They've got you covered. I believe that's it. That's all I want to give a shout out to.
All right. Well, Sam, on behalf of the Whitetail Rendezvous Nation, thank you so much for taking time to share a little bit about Bad Company hunting and outdoors, and your passion for getting kids in the outdoors. And I really appreciate you being on the show, and look forward to having you on the show maybe after you get your turkey here.
Yeah, sounds good. And I appreciate you having me.
All right, we'll be in touch, and you just have a great weekend, sir.
You too.
As your host at Whitetail Rendezvous, I want to thank each and every one of you for spending your time with us today. I look forward to sharing with you in the next episode more whitetail hunting tips, techniques, and stories. Until then, keep the sun at your back, the wind in your face, and always be patient.
If you have any tips, comments, or suggestions, or what we can do to improve, because we're here to serve you, let us know. Thanks for listening to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast at www.whitetailrendezvous.com.